What's up, Saints? Welcome to Saintified podcast. We exist to encourage the saints and equip believers, and we are actually the Saintified wives. We normally aren't the ones doing the podcast. It's normally our husbands, but you get us for this episode. So, Taylor, if you could go ahead and just introduce yourself, tell us your name, even though I already said it, your name, who you're married to, and then how you guys met.
Yeah, so my name is Taylor. My husband is Gabe, and we met at CFNI in Dallas, Texas.
Cool. What about you?
My name is Victoria, and I am Jeremiah's wife, and we met at CFNI, Dallas, Texas.
Love that. And then I am Jules or Juliana, but I prefer when people call me Jules. And my husband is Alex, and we also met at CFNI in Dallas, Texas. So today we are actually going to be speaking on two very important topics that I think should be spoken about a little more in the church. And so the first topic will be church hurt. And then the second topic will be creating a healthy team culture. And I do believe that both of those things go hand in hand. And so we're going to be speaking from our experiences, things that we've experienced in the church, how the Lord has healed us and redeemed us from those things. But I just want to preface this by saying everyone's experience is different, and the way their experience has hurt them is also different. We don't react the same way to different things that have happened. But I do want to say, if you're watching this and someone in the church has hurt you and done something illegal or something that should be reported, we do want to encourage you to go ahead and report that, to find help. So we just want to encourage you to make sure that the right thing is done and that justice does prevail in this situation. So does anyone want to start first by just sharing their experience of what they've gone through in the church?
Yeah, I'll start. So for me, I wasn't personally hurt by anyone in the church. Most of my experience was secondhand. So I watched and experienced with people that were close to me get genuinely hurt by people in the church and in ministry. And it was really hard. It was hard because I was also having their opinions placed on me. So then I was starting to see leaders in a different way. I was starting to see even the other people we were in ministry with in a different way. And then I started noticing when I was in college that I started placing unrealistic expectations on leaders. Like almost like, oh, they're pastors, they should know better. They're this, they should do more, be more, I should be getting more from them because they're pastors or they're holier or something like that. But we'll talk a little bit later, just in healthy culture, of how my mind shifted from that and what helped me grow from that. But
Yeah.
that was my experience.
Yeah. Would you say that that experience maybe changed the way that you viewed the Lord or just leadership in general?
More leadership in general.
Yeah.
It was, I don't think my view on the Lord changed,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely how I'm like, does God really use them? Like,
Yeah,
that's how my view changed in the sense,
Mm-hmm.
like, can God really use them if they're treating
yeah.
people this way or
Yeah.
talking to, or like, I'm hearing my friends obviously tell me their experience, and I'm like, oh, can God really use that person?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that was more, it was like almost like I was judging their character. It was like getting secondhand offense.
Mm-hmm.
It was what I was receiving. And like, even though it wasn't me who was doing it, like I was still getting hurt by what people were telling me. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a really hard situation to be in as well, because when it's people that you love too,
yeah.
that's such a hard thing to see them being mistreated
Yeah.
by people that it looks like the Lord is using, and it's like something's not adding up. Like it's
Yeah,
like, Lord, what are you
literally.
doing here?
Mhm.
So yeah, I can second that story for sure. Like not completely, but I know like where you're coming from. What about you, Taylor?
To be clear, I was not hurt by the church as a whole. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't hurt by the church as the body. I was hurt by a person in the church.
Yeah.
And I want to emphasize that because I feel like it's really easy for people who have been offended by people in the church to just generalize that as church hurt, and that puts a really, I guess, like that just poisons the well for like the whole church, if that makes sense. It's kind of like throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Like, you don't do
Yeah.
that. You get rid of the parts, or you call out the parts that are bad, and like not everything is bad.
Yeah.
I felt like I was mistreated. I was undervalued, underappreciated. And also, I feel like both of y'all have been, if not you are, on church staff. And so I feel like we all understand that when you're on church staff, you are already, like, by default, you have the inside scoop. Like,
Yeah.
you see behind the scenes, and that can be really great, but that can also be really, really hard. And I feel like for me, in my experience, dealing with offense, the hurt, on top of seeing the things behind the scenes, made it that much more difficult to go through, because it felt like every week there was just, oh, I heard him talk this way, or I heard them say this thing or do this thing. And it's like, well, there just goes another reason for me to be offended. And it kind of just like snowballed, and until it was just like, dang, this is actually really crappy. But Victoria, I actually really resonate with what you had mentioned. Like Victoria, I was constantly questioning while I was in that position, like, God, if, like, how can you keep blessing this church when this leader is the way that they are? Like, for me, I was like, it makes more sense for the church to break up because the leadership is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, because it'll save everybody else from hurt. But that would actually do the complete opposite, I feel, if the Lord decided to, like, okay, let's just break everything up. But also, I feel like in those moments of me questioning, like, God, how can you still encounter people during a church service? How can worship still, like, be an incredible experience for us? And how can the word still be delivered by the same person that has really harsh words on a weekly basis, like outside of a church service? How can you still move? How can we still encounter you
Yeah.
despite all of that? And I feel like through that season, he really, like, hammered it into my head, like, it's not about them, not about the one congregation member. It's not about that. It's about me. It's about my glory. And I feel like that's kind of a harsh, maybe not a harsh thing to say, but I guess like a harsh reality to, like, lock into, is like, Jesus does care about our hurt 1,000%. Like, he understands emotional suffering. He understands physical pain. Like, he gets it and he cares about it. But I feel like his glory is more important, in the sense of, like, yeah, we're going to go through things that hurt us, but they're not going to harm us. And we're going to go through things that are uncomfortable, but sometimes it's like, he'll look at you and be like, hey, I know this hurts, but be obedient and go through it, because my glory is, like, heavier than this. Like my glory will surpass what you feel this situation is. So I kind of rambled outside of what the question was, but
No, that's good.
that's my spiel. So
That was good.
Yes,
That
I
was
love that.
good.
And I'm glad you made it a point to differentiate the two
Yeah.
and kind of highlight the fact that the church is made up by a bunch of imperfect humans, and we're going to see that side of each other. It doesn't
100%.
excuse the behavior. It
Right.
doesn't excuse the hurt. It doesn't, we're not like just putting a band-aid on it, like, oh, we're all
Right.
imperfect, so just get over it, like, suck it up. I do believe that it is biblical that leaders are held to a higher standard
Yeah.
of living, but we do have to remember that it was not God that hurt us.
Exactly.
It was humans, imperfect people. And for some people, they weren't intentionally hurting us. It was just their imperfection shining, you know? It was
Literally.
just their flawed, even just view of leadership was what hurt us. And I know we're not, I just want to make it clear, we're not coming from a place of like, we're the perfect leaders, we've got it all figured out. We have learned things along the way, but there are certain things that you can pick up, you know,
No,
like,
yeah.
or that you have experienced that will kind of teach you what not to do.
No, exactly.
But yeah, I'm glad that you made it a point to mention that it's humans. Like the church is made up of imperfect humans. So yeah. Well, I'll share my kind of like church background. I grew up in a healthy environment. I'm very grateful I can say that. My parents are pastors, and so I grew up in their church. And now looking back, I appreciate how healthy they are even more now that I've experienced different ministries and I've gotten to see how other people lead different ministries. I'm thankful for the parents that the Lord gave me, and I do feel like I was able to learn so much from them. But once I moved from Nicaragua and I moved here to Texas, I was obviously under different leadership. And I would say that is when I went from, being appreciated where I was at to being intentionally overlooked by my leader. And it wasn't in a sense of like, oh, like maybe they're overlooking me, like maybe it's just a big team and they just have people they gravitate towards, because we're all humans, and so there's people that you'll just naturally gravitate towards, and we'll go into that a little bit later of like how as a leader you do need to be intentional, especially with the people you don't naturally gravitate towards. But I was like, well, maybe this person just like, I don't know, they don't feel like 100% comfortable with me yet. But months would go by, and it was still the same thing. And I began to realize, man, this is really hurting me. Like, everyone gets considered except for me. Everyone gets talked to except for me. Everyone gets asked to do something except for me. And it got to a point where I began to question my anointing, and I began to question my calling in the area of ministry that I was serving in. Because I was like, if my leader can't even see the potential that I have, why would I even believe in it? Why would anyone else believe in it? If the person that God has placed over me doesn't see that and doesn't want to like even appreciate it, or doesn't even think that I'm worth investing in, then like, what is going on? Like, maybe I'm in the wrong ministry. Like, maybe I really am not called to this. And that began to just kill me little by little. And my confidence just was shattered. Any dreams, any desires I had for this ministry, like, were just completely shattered. It was like I had this fire inside of me and someone grabbed a whole fire truck and just like dumped it on me, just like they just dumped it with water, and all of my fire, my passion, my dreams, everything was just like, I look back and I'm like, oh my goodness, like, where did it even go? And I remember walking home from meetings just crying because I was like, this hurts so much. Like, I went from a place where I was loved and people believed in me and they called it out of me, to somewhere where I can't even be looked in the eye, And so that hurt. It really did hurt, but it came to a point where it was like, the way this person's treating me has nothing to do with me. It actually is just a reflection of what's going on in their hearts. And I can say that I share this story from a place of being healed. Like, I don't hold that resentment against them anymore, which I'm so thankful for, because that was something I was scared of, honestly. I was like, oh my goodness, am I gonna like deal with this for like the rest of my life? Like, is this something I'm just gonna like have to hold on to for the rest of my life? But something that I realized is I need to let go of what happened and forgive them, even if they didn't ask for forgiveness. And I think that's something, a place where we've all been, is like having to forgive someone before they even ask for forgiveness. And for a lot of us, like, the person still has never asked for forgiveness, but we have had to let the Lord just deal with it and heal that part of our hearts, because forgiveness really isn't for the other person, it's for you. Like, when you let go of something, you're letting go of it. You're saying, this has no hold on my life anymore. And whatever lie, whatever disappointment, whatever the enemy tried doing through that, you're saying, hey, you have no hold anymore. And I choose healing. I choose to move forward. I choose to continue pursuing the call of the Lord on my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know if y'all want to share kind of like what that healing process has looked for y'all with in regards to what y'all were sharing,
Yeah.
or like something you learned during the season as well.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
can go real quick. I want to just because you mentioned forgiveness and how it's like for us and not for the other person. I think it's funny how the world will tell you the complete opposite. Like, oh,
Yeah.
they don't deserve your forgiveness. Hold a
Mm,
grudge. Like, be
Yeah.
petty. It's like trendy. It's the cool thing to hold grudges and
yeah.
to be petty. And God doesn't tell us to hold grudges or to be petty. God tells us to forgive.
Hmm.
And something, well, I struggled with that with my situation. I think it was just part of it was that I low key I enjoyed gossiping about the situation because I
Mm,
felt like, okay, if I can just get more people to be aware of what's going on, then maybe the person will finally fess up and be like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm saying this, I apologize, I come out about it, whatever, whatever.
yeah.
And I was trying to take justice into my own hands and work things out the way I thought they should go. But that was not, that's like the Lord's way of doing things is
Yeah.
correct and
Yeah.
it's right and it's pure, and my intentions were not correct or right or pure. Going through that process of forgiving, it was like layers of an onion being peeled back, but it's
Yeah.
like, are we ever getting to the center? Like, how many more layers
Hmm.
is there to go? And so something that really helped me forgive that person, and I know it may sound cheesy or a little on the nose, like, well, duh, but I feel like it's sometimes those truths that we overlook because it's like, oh, it can't be that simple, it can't be
Yeah.
that easy, but like sometimes it is. And so I feel like forgiveness is kind of one of those things, at least it was for me. And it's just that the story of, it's in the book of Matthew, the story of the man who owed a great debt,
Mm,
and then he was just completely forgiven of the debt, and then he someone else owed him a debt and he was like, no, I'm not going to forgive you.
mm-hmm.
And so it's like, if we would just remember how much we have been forgiven of, like
Yes.
actually,
Hmm.
like think back to your testimony. How screwed up were you? How like deep in sin were you? How like often would you mess up?
Hmm.
Like fill in the blank, whatever. Like whatever your testimony is, remember that to give you the power and the encouragement to forgive. Because
Yes.
like I had to do that. I had to look at the characteristics of the person that was hurting me, and I had to tell myself, you are no better. Like, just
Hmm.
because you don't do those things doesn't make you blameless. Like, just because you don't say those things doesn't make you the perfect person. You're not holier than someone else because you don't do something or you do something. And so just having to remind myself, like, I have been forgiven greatly. So
Yeah.
Yes.
how dare I try to withhold for something that I feel is like a deal breaker for someone to be forgiven? And so I know like forgiveness can be really hard, and it's not just like a one step thing. I understand that. And so like I'm not trying to invalidate anybody's experiences. Like
Yeah.
your walk with the Lord and your walk through forgiveness, I feel is a very personal and intimate thing.
A
And
hundred
so
percent.
God walked with me exactly how I needed him to through that, for as long as I needed
Yes.
him to through that.
Hmm.
But yeah, again, like it sounds so cheesy and so like cliche, but forgiveness is like, there's so much power in being able to forgive.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
100%. I actually want to go back to the like where people fail, but our God never does.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
my God has never failed me. He's never,
Mm,
even though the people around me, like, when you mix ministry and people, especially I'm on a church staff, when you mix ministry and people, it's going to be imperfect
Yeah.
every single time. And
yes.
especially like being on this end, like, I know I'm not perfect. I know that I'm maybe could have said something a little better, maybe could have done things a little more, you know?
Yeah. Of course.
And I think, like, obviously, looking back at my situation, I'm able to give grace to that. I'm able
Mm-hmm.
to give grace and extend grace. But one verse I wanted to point out was Psalm 118, 100, 118:8. And it says it's better to trust in the Lord than put confidence in man.
Yes.
And my trust is in Jesus, not in people.
Mm-hmm.
And he's never failed me. And so, like, even when I look back at that and that whole situation, I'm just like, God, like, you were there through it all. Like,
Yeah.
you hurt with me. You saw it with me. You hurt with my family and
Mm-hmm.
friends who went through that. You went through it with them. And the secondhand offense that I was just gaining from that, like, he was there through it all. So I think that's the thing that got me through that season was from like while we were in college, it was one of the topics that had come up was like people will fail us
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over again.
Yeah.
So I think it was just remembering their humanity and
Yeah.
like that they are human,
Yeah.
that Jesus was the only perfect human.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
it was because he was 100% God
Yeah.
too. And I'm
Mhm.
not. We're
Yeah.
Yeah.
not. So that was just like my reminder that got me through that season and even into like looking at my pastors and leaders who I have now, I'm able to extend them so much more grace because I'm like, they're human too. They're
Mhm.
moms, they're dads, they're brothers and sisters. Like, it just makes me see them in their humanity
Yeah.
way more.
Yeah. That's so good. That is so good. And Taylor, I like that you said that it's like an onion, that you use that
Hmm.
analogy. Because my mom, ever since I was little, she has always told me, Jules, healing is like an onion.
Mm-hmm.
And there's layers. And it's not just like, oh, you like, I forgive you, and then everything's
Yeah.
good. Like there's certain things that happen, even just emotionally, like ways that you didn't know that certain
Mm-hmm.
situation affected you in,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's like I'm so thankful that the Lord is so patient,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
he will deal with each layer,
Yeah.
and he'll take his time. He's not going to rush the healing process. He does it perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
as long as we're open to him just healing our hearts and just asking him, Lord, heal this, like, ow, this hurts, because
Yeah.
not only is he our God and our Savior, but he's our Father.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he
Hmm.
cares for us so much, and when we hurt, that hurts him
Mm-hmm.
too. Like, he is so loving and so caring that if we are sad, if we are hurting, that will hurt him too. Like, he feels that, and he wants to heal it. And so I love that you said that, because it's such a good reminder, like what both of y'all said, such a good reminder that people, they're humans.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have to extend that grace because we have been forgiven. But also, healing is a process.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself one day thinking that, man, I've fully let this go, and then something happens and it triggers you,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, oh man, there's another layer. There's
Mm-hmm.
something else that needs to be healed. And I'm so glad that Jesus died for our wholeness.
Yeah.
He died for
Yeah.
our emotional wholeness as
Yeah.
well, for us to be emotionally, spiritually, mentally healthy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so if that means looking for a counselor at your church or somewhere outside of your church, someone that can walk you through this process, I would highly, highly recommend that.
Mm-hmm.
Find people that can cover you in prayer, that can just walk with you through this hurt and through this pain. We were never ever meant to do life alone.
Mm-hmm.
We were always meant to be together, to stay in community. And so if you need to find someone to just hear you out, if you need to just vent, and
Mm-hmm.
tell them everything that happened, a safe space, I highly, highly encourage you to do that, to find someone that you can talk to, but not only talk to, but that they can equip you with the tools
Yeah.
necessary
Yeah.
to find that healing, because healing and forgiveness is so freeing. It is so, so
Mm-hmm.
freeing. It is more freeing than holding on to this resentment for the
Mm-hmm.
rest of your life. Um,
Yeah.
and something I honestly learned was that sometimes you're under certain leadership simply to learn what not to
Yeah.
do. And that's
That's
just the
real.
reality of it. Like, sometimes you walk away from a place and you're just like, wow, now I know what not to do, and
Yeah.
how you can apply that in your own life or
Mhm.
apply the opposite in your life. And I think for me, like being under that one leader, obviously I don't know what was going on in their life, but the reality is that hurt people bleed on people.
Hmm.
And so as a leader, you want to make sure that you are healthy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that you are healthy, that you have people who you're accountable to.
Hmm.
um, Accountability is so powerful,
So
and I
powerful.
think that's why the enemy tries downplaying it a bit,
Yeah.
and trying to like not um, or keep us from being accountable to someone. But something that I learned being under this leader is that no one ever wants to be under a leader that's bitter towards them. Everyone wants to be under a leader that loves them.
Hmm.
Like at church, you want to know that your leader loves you.
Mhm.
Even if you're not like tight besties, like
Yeah.
talking all the time, you want to know that this person is praying for you. You want to know that they want you to reach your full potential. And it reminds me of 1 Corinthians 13 that says, if I could speak all the languages of earth and of angels, but didn't love others, I would only be a noisy gong or a clanging
Mhm.
cymbal. If I had the gift of prophecy, and if I understood all of God's secret plans and possessed all knowledge, and if I had such faith that I could move mountains, but didn't love others, I would be nothing. It just goes to show how powerful love is. And because of this thing that I walked through and I experienced, I have always made it a point to, even if there's someone that I'm leading that our personalities might clash a little bit,
Hmm.
or we're just not naturally like drawn to each other, I make it a point to make it obvious that, hey, I love you and
Yeah.
I'm praying for you, and not just
Oh, that's
actually
so good.
saying it, but actually living it out. Because
Yeah.
those are two
Mhm.
completely different things that can actually hurt someone. If you
Yeah.
say, I love you, I love you, I love you, and then your actions are displaying the complete
Hmm.
opposite, like the
Yeah.
complete opposite, that can be hurtful. But when it's done and it's done correctly, when you
Yeah.
say it, but your actions follow what you're saying, it can be so powerful. It can
Mhm.
disarm people that you're leading, because sometimes there's people that you're leading that are more like closed off, or they're just like, maybe they've gone through some specific situations where they've been hurt by past leaders,
Hmm.
and this is them like taking a step, but they're just closed off. If you love someone and you show them that you love them, love is so powerful that it can disarm any like
Yeah.
wall that they had put up,
Mhm.
Yeah.
um and so I know since our experiences that we just shared, we have had the opportunity to be in positions of leadership where we've gotten to shepherd other people. And so I just want to kind of like pick y'all's brains and just ask, like, what are some things that you have implemented or that you've learned that can actually create a healthy team culture where everyone is seen and valued and like truly loved? So I don't know if either of you want to share.
Yeah, I'll start. It actually goes with what you just said. So it's about accountability over hierarchy. Like even in my mindset of the group that I'm leading right now, I am no different than them. Like in the sense, yes, I'm their leader. I come to them. I have everything set up for our weekends. I prepare and I ready myself.
Yeah.
That's my like that's kind of how I see my responsibility, so that way they can step into um the areas that they're going to be leading better and equipped.
Yeah.
And like I know I have to prepare myself during the week, like, but it's not just like a weekly thing. It's like a I have to be ready all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, one of the things that I have, the Bible verse that I had just for it was Philippians 2:3 is do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself. So I believe in leadership that is also servanthood.
Yeah.
So I'm a servant leader. I am
Yes.
right there with them, doing everything with them. I would never ask someone to do something that I wouldn't personally do, have
Yeah.
already done myself.
Yeah.
I don't expect like even like if you took the title away, I would still go in and wipe all the bathroom counters. I will
Yeah.
still go in and pick up trash on the floor because it's my heart. It's my heart posture. I honor because I'm honorable, not
Yeah.
because other people deserve it or because other people like should get it or shouldn't get it. It's because I'm going to honor them because I am honorable.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's like just the basis of of how I lead, of how I view myself in leadership.
Yeah.
And the things I've learned from previous leaders, from experience, some of the best leaders I had were leaders who were like this, who didn't see me as something below them, but
Mm-hmm.
as something almost as equal, even though I knew that I wasn't,
Yeah.
but like they valued me. And
Yeah.
those are some of my favorite leaders that I've ever had.
Yeah. That's so good. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually want to point out that the scripture you use, Philippians 2:3, if you go a little lower, it's literally talking about Jesus humbling himself and becoming a servant. And
Yeah,
so, if you want to know how to be a good leader,
Yeah.
look at Jesus. Literally, look at Jesus. Like, he could
literally.
have exalted himself
Mm-hmm.
and been like, hey, y'all, I'm here, like,
Mm-hmm.
bow down to
I
me.
am
But
the
he,
Messiah.
exactly, he's like, I am him, like, actually. And,
Literally.
but he became a servant.
Yeah.
Like, he humbled himself. So, where have we gotten, like, the idea
Mm-hmm.
that now that I'm in leadership,
Exalt
you need to
myself.
do this for me, you need to do this for
Yeah.
me, now
I'm
y'all
not gonna
serve
do
me,
this.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
like, just look at Jesus. If you
Yeah.
need a prime example of what a servant is, look at Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
That's good.
Yes.
I'll say so. Gabe and I had the honor and privilege of leading a group of youth leaders for like 4 years, maybe 3 years. And there were a lot of things that I feel were important to establish a healthy culture, but I think the most important one is communication.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that is so essential in any kind of relationship that you have. Like I know as wives, communication is
Important.
yeah. You got to
So
do it. You
important.
Key.
got to do it. Friendships, you got to do it. Like work
Hmm.
relationships, you have to. Like it is so essential for the health of whatever relationship it is that you have. And so I feel like something that we kind of are maybe intimidated by that also comes with communication is sometimes confrontation. And I know me,
Too.
I'm very like, I don't want to say I'm passive. I definitely can be passive. I just don't super like confrontation all the time because I
Yeah,
feel like
it's not fun.
it has a negative connotation. Like whenever you hear someone like, "Oh, I'm about to go confront them on this," it's like, "Oh, like snap. That's
Hmm.
that's a negative. There's probably going
That's
to be some hair
scary.
pulling. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad." And so something that we establish with our leaders is like an open door style of communication, like whatever whenever you need us, aside from
Hmm.
like we had like block off hours, obviously, like
Yeah.
don't text us after 11 p.m. But it's like, hey, if it's an emergency, if you need anything, call us, text us. And like just really establishing and making sure that they know like, hey, you don't even have to come to talk to us just about church stuff or just about youth leader ministry
Mm.
stuff. Like if you had a bad day at school,
Yeah.
text us. Like if you want
Yes.
to hang
Yes.
out, text us. If you're going through something, and I think a sign that you've established that really well is you don't always have to initiate and you don't always have to remind them like, hey,
Yeah,
communicate.
that's
They'll
good.
do it on their own. And so something
Yeah.
that was always really cool to see was in our youth leader chat at like random times during the day we would have people like, hey, I need y'all to pray for this person because blah blah blah. Or we would have youth leaders text us like, hey, I'm having an issue with this person, can I call you so we can talk about it? And that just shows like they trust you as your leaders,
Yeah.
because they know that you won't just be someone that will like say you're there for them and like when they come you're absent. Like you're
Hmm.
Yeah.
present. They know that you're going to be present and listen
Yeah.
to what they're saying. But yeah, I feel like everything rises and falls on communication in a sense because it's how you get things done or how you don't
No,
get things
that's
done.
Yeah.
So true.
So, yeah, but also something that I wanted to mention specifically about confrontation is that it's not just aggressive or intense. I feel like that's what we normally associate it with. But I feel like confrontation is just communication with courage and clarity.
Yeah.
Like you're being
Yes.
intentional, you know exactly what it is you're going in to say. And just to tie it back to what we were talking about earlier, church hurt, because I feel like communication can solve a lot of church hurt. Like if
Hmm.
you would just have that conversation, if you would just reach out to that person and say, hey, you saying that made me feel this way. If you would just do it, like if you would
Yes.
just have that conversation, you could save yourself from a world of hurt, I feel. And so I'm sure we're all familiar, but Matthew chapter 18, verses 15 through 17 says, if your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault just between the two of you. If they listen to you, you have won them over. But if they will not listen, take one or two others along, so that every matter may be established by the testimony of two or three witnesses. If they still refuse to listen, tell it to the church. And if they refuse to listen, even to the church, treat them as you would a pagan or a tax collector. The Bible is so clear about how you are to communicate when you have
Yeah.
fallouts. And
Hmm.
I just, like, if your teams know, like, hey, this is the line that we do things by, or this is a truth that we go by when it comes to this area, like, there's no area for, like, gray lines. There's
Yeah.
no, oh, what do we
When
do
you've,
when this happens? Oh, I had a
yeah.
fallout with one of my other friends. Who do I go to talk to? It's like, no, it's established here in the Word, but
Yes.
also you reinforce it as a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
That's
so
so
good.
good. And then, like, even as a leader, being open to those conversations.
Hmm.
You have to be open to the hard
Yeah.
conversations, to the questions, to even the complaints.
Yeah.
You have to be open to it, and
It's
you
so
cannot go
real.
into that conversation with pride in your heart.
Right.
I remember when Alex and I first got married. This one hair is bothering me, guys. I can't get it. There we go. The joys of being a girl. I remember when Alex and I first got married and we were leading this one team together and we were like debriefing, I was like all fun, after the set. We were like, so how did you guys feel? And this one team member just went off on us,
Oof.
like in front of the whole team. And he was clearly frustrated about something that he hadn't let out. And in the moment, I was like, oh my gosh. First of all, this is kind of uncomfortable. Second of all, I was getting like a little like defensive.
Yeah.
And the way Alex responded to that taught me so much. Cuz instead of meeting him with anger and meeting him with the same like level of just like passion, he was very passionate about what he was saying. Alex met him with grace. And he said, I hear what you're saying. And the first thing that came out of his mouth was, thank you. Thank you for actually telling us how you feel. And when he said thank you, I was like, oh. And
what
then
he meant to say was, no, thank you.
And as he said that, I felt like even myself just like,
Yeah.
like I calmed down. And I was like, you're right. This isn't something we need to fight over. Like, this is like, we're a team and hard conversations need to be had because that's how you grow. That's how, like, imagine if you never had a hard conversation with your husband. You'd be strangers, basically, kind of.
I'd be so mad at him all the time.
Like, if you never let anything out. But if you like never had those conversations where you can look back and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so grateful we had these conversations. And I just want to say that team member is like, we love him. Like, he loves us, we love him. We moved past that and now we have that history where it's like, okay, we can have tough conversations and still really love each other. And I would say 100% our love for each other has grown since that conversation. Our respect for each other has grown since that conversation. But that wouldn't have happened if the leader, Alex, hadn't met him with grace and hadn't been patient and hadn't said, you know what? Thank you. Thank you for telling me how you feel, because now we can work through this and now we can, there's more unity in the team,
Right.
That's
good.
I also want to just share this scripture, Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the godly are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in power, they groan.
Mm.
And I feel like one of the most important things as a leader, and it can sound so like, well, duh, but be godly. Like,
Yeah.
actually love the Lord. Actually have a relationship with him outside of the four walls of the church you work at or the church you're leading in. Like, actually sit with the Lord and love on him. Let him love you, but also let him convict you.
Yeah.
Let him redirect your path. Let him redirect where you're going, the steps that you're taking, the way that you're leading people, and let him lead you, because that's how you're going to learn as well. Is like, yes, there are so many practical ways and things that you can implement, and I think that would be like a fun podcast to do, of like actual like step 1, step 2, step 3, like this is how you can see like a difference in your team and growth in your team.
Yeah.
But let him lead you. Like, let him just be a father to you. Let him heal you. Let him heal wounds that you may have. But that would be my first thing, is just actually be godly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference. There's fruit when you've sat with the Lord. There's fruit when you've let him lead you, when you've let him father you, when you've let him be Lord of your life.
Yeah, that's good.
And then actually care. Like, that's the second thing for me, would be just actually care. Pastor Quentin, who we had on the podcast, well, who the guys had on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, he is so amazing. I've learned so much from him. And one of the first things he told me when I was under his leadership was, everyone wants to be seen, heard, and loved. No, I got it wrong. Sorry, PQ. Everyone wants to be seen, known, and loved. Every single person on your team wants to be seen. They want to know that you see them, that you see the potential that God has placed inside of them, that you see what the Lord has for them in the future, even if they don't. Everyone wants to be known. They actually want to know that, hey, you know me, and you actually know me. Like, you know what I like. You know the ways that you need to communicate with me. You know the ways where I will best take constructive criticism.
Right.
And they want to be loved. They want to be loved despite all of that. And like, yes, sometimes as a leader, there are people you just gravitate towards naturally. And if you're in that place where you find it kind of hard to, like, there's one person on your team where you're like, oh my gosh, like, they're pushing my buttons, just ask the Lord to help you love them. Ask the Lord to help you see them the way that he sees them. That he would help you see the potential in them. That he would help you call out those things that he's placed inside of them that need to be called out. And I think as women as well, we naturally are more nurturing. We have that more nurturing, caring side. And I would highly, highly, highly recommend, like, lean into that. If you're a woman in ministry leading, lean into that nurturing side where you actually, like, want to. I know, like, for the people that I've led, like my YFN team, I would always call them my kids. And like, some of them were older than me, you know, but it's like that love that the Lord gives you for them. Like, lean into that, like, show them that you care, that you're there for them, that you want the best for them. I think that speaks volume to people on a team when their leader shows that they care.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yeah. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to share?
My closing thought for my spiel is the easiest thing, and hear my whole statement before being like, ooh, she's invalidating me, because I'm not. I feel the easiest thing to do when you have been church hurt or hurt by someone in the church is to just get up and go, like, just to leave. But I want to remind you that the church is a context, that the Lord uses to shape you and mold you more into Him.
Yeah.
And it's because, like Jules had mentioned earlier, and like Victoria had mentioned too, the church is made up of imperfect people.
Yeah.
Like, we have not yet been made whole. The bride has not yet been made whole yet. Like, we're getting there, right? Every day we're getting there. Every day we're getting closer. So, like, to ask and to pray, God, make me more like you. Jesus, make me more like you. But then take yourself out of the place that He does that.
Mhm.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Not at all.
Like, just give it a shot. Like, if you are at a place where you're like, I'm about to dip out of this church because I just can't take it, I can't take the leadership, blah, blah, blah. First of all, pray about it. Make sure that you're
Yes.
not just acting on your emotion, because it's really easy to be like, let me validate myself in my anger, in my sadness, in my bitterness, and let me just go. That's easy. But being a Christian does not always mean doing the easiest thing. Like, sometimes the
That's
right
so
thing to do
real.
is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
So just ask the Lord, like, help me give this just one more shot. Like, give church one more shot. And obviously it's a case by case thing for sure. Like, it's like Jules had mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, if something illegal is going on in your church,
Yes.
if you've been like used or something like that, like, that is a very different situation. Use wisdom.
Yes.
Like, the Lord gives you
Yes.
wisdom in situations like
Yeah.
that. If it's just like someone had a bad opinion about me, or someone said the wrong thing at the wrong time, I'm about to leave, just give it one more shot.
Yes.
And like, really, really give it everything. Like, if you end up leaving, don't leave saying, oh, I had a little bit more I could have given. Like, just go all in and just trust that the Lord will give you grace as you walk through whatever it is that you're going to walk through, whether that's, continuing at the church, or whether that's removing yourself and finding somewhere else. Like, believe that the Lord is going to give you grace for those situations. He loves the church. God loves the church. He died for the church. And so, like, just give it a shot. Give it a shot.
Yeah. Try church again.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things that helped me through my healing process was this book by John Bevere, The Bait of Satan. And it helped me stop taking the bait of offense, which is like, that's how the devil's number one thing he's going to try. He's gonna always make you feel like you're alone. And then he's going to always try to give you a reason to be hurt
Yeah.
for anything and every little thing. But that was one of the things that made me view offense as my choice, and not that doesn't validate anything or that anyone experienced at all. That doesn't like make it okay in any sort of way. But I realized it was my heart posture. And even though I wasn't the one who hurt myself, right? I wasn't the one who was hurt. I took ownership of my healing. I took ownership of what I was going through. But that was one of the things that, even as a leader now, being so essentially not careful, but just like, okay, like, you know what? It's the grace. There's grace and truth. And so it's like me also being able to take that truth of like, I hurt someone, and I can take ownership of that too. And like, even to that, like, just being able to tell them, like, I hear you. Thank you for telling me. I'm here for you. I don't know what else I can do, but I'm here for you. I think that's another thing, like, as leaders, we can forget that we don't have to have all the answers. I don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
We don't have to have all the answers, but like, I'm here for you. I'm here to listen, and I'm here to be a shoulder to cry on, or whatever that looks like.
Yeah, that's so good. I think one of the most powerful things that the Lord has taught me is that as a leader, it's not just giving people a list of things to do.
Yeah.
You're actually shepherding them. Like, you're actually walking with them through the hard things, through the exciting moments, and you're there to celebrate, but you're also there to walk with them when they have their own questions and they have their own, like, strong feelings towards the Lord, or they're like, why did God let this happen to me? Whatever it is, you're there to walk with them, to be that shoulder that they can lean on, and just yeah, just walking with them. Like, you don't have to be an absent leader, you don't have to be a boss. I think that's something that is very important to learn, is that
Yeah.
as a leader, you're not a boss.
Yeah.
You're actually a shepherd when it
Yeah.
comes to God's people. You're walking with them, and you are watching out for them. You are interceding for them on their behalf. You know, you are just covering them in prayers or just there to celebrate with them. You don't know what their family looks like, what their home
Mm-hmm.
life looks like. You know, you might be like, church might be the safe space for them. I know we're speaking on church hurt as well, but for a lot of people too, church is the safest place
Yeah.
for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
so
real.
as leaders, we need to recognize that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a really good conversation. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, girls, for being on the
On the
pod.
pod.
And then, I mean, yeah, next week it'll be the guys. You guys will get the guys.
Unless you don't want the guys anymore.
Yeah, if
And
you
you
want
can
us
just
back,
ask
let
for
us
us again.
know.
Let us know.
We hope
Drop it in the
this
comments.
was helpful. Yes, let us know in the
Subscribe.
comments
Don't
if
forget
you
to
want us
subscribe.
No hate, because we're just girls.
Please.
Please,
Our hearts
no
are
hate.
I'm
tender. No
emotional
hate,
right
please.
now too. The hormones are
That's
crazy.
true. There is actually 4 of us on this podcast.
There is. And she's a girl.
Yes.
Period.
So another
I
girl.
love it. I
She's
love
just
it.
inside.
She's down there.
She's down here.
Maybe she'll make her debut in a few months. Not right
In
now.
a few months. Not right now.
Not tonight.
No, but yeah, thank you for having this conversation with me. And thank you guys for listening. We hope that it was helpful. We pray that some of y'all have found healing throughout this conversation. That is our heart for this, is that as we're speaking, that the Lord would begin to just heal y'all's hearts. And then we also just wanted to equip y'all with just tools and steps that you can take to ensure that your team is healthy. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. We hope that it blessed y'all and it was able to equip y'all, but also just bring encouragement. For whoever is watching, I just want you to know that there is healing on the other side of it. There is freedom on the other side of it. And I just pray that the Lord would surround you with people to walk through this season with you. And that you would find complete and total healing, because it is so freeing. It is so, so freeing. And so we bless y'all. Please let us know if you would like us back. You will have the guys next week or in 2 weeks, but let us know if you'd like for us to come back. Maybe do a part 2.
Drop it in the comments below.
Yes. Maybe do a part 2, maybe talk on something completely different. But we really enjoyed having this conversation. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.